Is it good that many of the most powerful federal elected officials in the United States are in their 80s or even close to their 90s in some cases? Now, let me set this up for you. Last week, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley announced he's going to be running for reelection. He is 88. Senate terms are 6 years long. We're talking 90s if he wins. Joe Biden is almost 79. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, is 81. Steny Hoyer is 82. Jim Clyburn is 81. Those are the top three Democrats in the House of Representatives. Over in the Senate, the Democratic leader Chuck Schumer is only 70. Republican leader Mitch McConnell, 79 years old. Senator Dianne Feinstein, 88 years old. Bernie is 80 years old. Patrick Leahy's 81. Jim Inhofe is 86. I can give you the list. Fine. This is not about ageism. Republicans have actually been using ageist tropes against Joe Biden. Joe Biden's barely older than Donald Trump, their big alpha boy, strong hero. Joe Biden's barely older. Republicans have been using a lot of ageist tropes against Joe Biden. I have no interest in just a generally ageist discussion. It's more about, is this country well represented if our elected officials skew so dramatically older than the average population? Now, to some degree, it makes sense. 5-year-olds contribute to the average population, but 5-year-olds can't be senators. So to some degree, it would make sense that our elected officials are older than the average population, but we're talking about dramatically so. We've also talked before about whether there should be an upper age limit for president, for example. This isn't about, imposing anything. Some people want an upper age limit. This is more about whether it could be argued that the population of the United States overall is well served and well represented by folks who skew dramatically older. There's a strong case to be made that the answer is no. Now, at the same time, we want people who are more experienced. Oftentimes, people get good at their jobs after they've been in the job for a while. You can also have corruption and rot, which sets in when people have been in their jobs for a while. We want people who know how these legislative bodies work and know how to get things done. And if you increase turnover dramatically in the House and Senate, you probably increase this revolving door of lobbyists and a number of other problems. Now, aside from an age limit, you can also look at term limits, but there's quite a bit of literature in terms of term limits, which says term limits create corruption and they create incompetence because you force out lots of people who could be doing their job really well. They force people out as they become more experienced, and you create the opportunity for moneyed interests to interfere and swoop in, write legislation. It's a complicated issue for sure. The idea of an age limit is not unheard of. Many people don't know that Canada has a maximum age for senators. There's mandatory retirement for Canadian senators at age 75. So then we get at the end to turnout is really low in the United States without changing anything about the rules, term limits, maximum age, or any of this stuff. If more people wanted younger elected officials, they could get out and vote for them, support them in primaries, and the problem would sort of take care of itself. Now, many people would say, hey, there's too many 80-year-olds and my generation's not represented, and I'm going to go out and vote. But a lot of the people who say that don't actually go out and vote. Does that make sense? No, but it's the situation that we have. So do we really need age limits? Do we really need term limits? Or do we just need more voter participation and higher turnout from younger people who are overwhelmingly underrepresented in the electorate that chooses to vote? It would make sense, if you step back from all of this, if older folks are more reliable voters, it makes sense that you might see older folks also overrepresented in terms of who wins. So let me know your thoughts. Question one is this really an issue that elected representatives, particularly in the Senate and in general in federal government, skew older? And if it is a problem, are we better off leaning on a solution like a term limit or an age limit? Or is this really just an issue of apathy among those who casually would like younger representatives, but aren't actually going out and voting in significant numbers. Let me know your thoughts. Is it a problem, and what is the solution if so? You can find me on Twitter at @dpacman.